Not much that I could say there, ladies and gentlemen. Not much that I could say. A terrible, terrible, terrible game by the New York Knicks. What can we say? You really can't blame too many people. It's just one of those games that we sucked. You know, and ironically, they did what we asked for in the pregame. We won the first quarter. We won the fourth quarter. That's about it. Terrible game by the New York Knicks. And, listen, when people got on me because we lost, I was upset because we lost to Brooklyn. This is why I was upset, because teams like that, you got to beat them. Regardless of what people say this season is for or about, you got to beat those guys. We beat Brooklyn like we should have. We're 2-3. We don't feel so bad. You look at us now, we're 1-4. And our next game is against the Golden State Warriors. How's that make you feel to end your hump day? 1-4. And the next game is versus the Golden State Warriors. Tough task. But hey, it's what happens when you're a team, when you're a young team like we are, and we're like you're saying, Eddie Roldan, we're going through growing pains. That's a tough task. It's a tough task. Let's recap the game, man. Let's recap the game. Let's talk about it anyway. Break this down, analyze it, because I think there will be changes coming into the game versus Friday night's game versus the Golden State Warriors. There'll be some changes. I'm pretty positive there will be. Pretty positive there'll be some changes. Has to be some changes to that starting lineup, because coming into this game, we hadn't won the first quarter. But also coming into this game, we had done very well in the third quarter. We were a positive 21 or a positive 22, mainly due to one big third quarter. Well, now it's opposite. We won the first quarter. We got smacked by 25. We gave up 45 points in that third quarter. Got smacked. It was 45-20. Got smacked by 25 points in the third quarter. So now we're -4 or -3 or whatever it is in third quarters this season because of one big quarter. Right? But it's the same lineup. The same lineup that was giving us bad first quarters is the same lineup that gave us this third quarter. It's also the same lineup that won a couple of our third quarters. But if you look at tonight, though, the first quarter was really won by the second unit when it came in. It wasn't won by the first squad. I mean, the first squad played okay, but the second unit that came in is really the unit that pushed the lead in that first quarter. So we got a lot to talk about, and I think we're going to get to lineup changes. I want to find out what you guys think about some lineup changes and what changes may take place, because I think there's definitely going to be some lineup changes. If there's not, then I have some questions for Coach Fizz, but I think Fizdale is going to do what he does. He said after the Miami game, there could be, we could be looking at some changes. One of the things, when I look at this team, and this is the last thing I'm going to say before I get into just recapping the game. When I look at this team, I see a team that lacks confidence in itself, right? A team that doesn't know what its identity is. A team that doesn't know, hasn't reflected upon itself to find out who they are, like a person. When you know who you are and you're confident in who you are, you can go out and you can perform your job. You can perform responsibilities, whatever it is that you need to do. When you are not sure of yourself, then you're shaky. And you have no base to fall back on. And that's what I see with this team right now. And it makes sense because they're a team that's, young. They're a team that, for the most part, is just getting together, right? I mean, you got new players in Knox, Trier, Mario Hezonja, Noah Vonleh. I don't even know who else I'm missing, but, you know, we got new players coming into the squad. Half of our rotation are new players. Mitchell Robinson is new. Half of our rotation are new players, which means you have a new team. And so this team needs to form an identity. We haven't had an identity for years. Yeah, you know, this year is about that. This year is about developing the culture, building an identity. And you can see it in these games. You can see it. The Knicks are not clear who they are yet. And if you're not clear who you are, you're going to have games like this. Listen, we're going to have games like this anyway. You know, because we know who we are as a team. Well, we as fans understand what this team is right now. But geez, I hate to see a third quarter like that. From the middle of the second quarter all the way through to the third quarter, we were dominated. We were dominated by a team that hadn't shot well, was, of course, decent defensively, hadn't shot the three ball well, but they came with it tonight. You know, and they definitely came with it tonight. Tough game for the Knicks. So let's take a look at. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at a recap of the game. I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings or put a damper on your night. I think the Knicks already did put a damper on your night, but we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this anyway, and then we will get to our group that's in the video chat. And, you know, for some reason, I've had a few people tell me that the video chat wasn't working right, but hopefully it's good now. Let's break it down. Let's look at the quarters. Break it down by quarter. Quarter one, we win 27-16. We win it by 11. We're up by 11 at the end of the first quarter. We get into that second quarter, then we lose it by 13. 31-18. I have some, you know, I don't know. We lose it 31-18. Down 2 at the half. Now you look at this. Look at this third quarter, man. Look at the third quarter. 45-20. We get smacked in the third quarter. Score 20 points. Give up 45 points. That's a lot of points to give up in one quarter. I mean, both teams were under 50 for the half. Right? Under 50 for the half. They score 45 in one quarter. Quarter number 4, we win 22-18. A useless quarter. Right. Our biggest lead was 11. Miami's biggest lead was 30. The rebounding battle wasn't awful. They won it 51-45. We got 10 offensive rebounds. They got 4. They beat us on the defensive boards 47-35. We had 20 assists on par with our average. They had 24 assists. They had more steals than us, even though they're down towards the bottom of the league in steals. They had 5 blocks. We had 3. We had 12 turnovers. They had 13. That's the one thing we can say. We have been taking care of the ball. We have. And, we have some theories. Viv has some theories. I have some theories as to why we take care of the ball. And it relates to our assist numbers in our one-on-one play. But now look at the shooting percentage. This is where we lost the game, guys. This is where we lost the game. 36.3%. And we continue to harp on our shooting percentage. I continue to harp on it. Some people say they don't care. I care. Right? Because the more efficient you are on the offensive end, the better you can play defensively. Because even if you miss, when you miss, if you're playing efficient and you're taking good shots, let me clean this up a little bit with what I'm getting ready to say. First of all, if you're efficient on the offensive end, you're going to have less misses, which is going to allow your defense to set up. The more misses you have, obviously, the more fast break points or the more fast break opportunities the opposing team has, the more they can get you on your heels. So when you're shooting 36.3% from the field, you're going to be in trouble. From three, we shot 36.4%. Not awful. 12 for 33. It's not awful. Shot 64% from the free throw line, but we only shot 14 free throws. This is becoming an issue right here because we're not hitting the rack. We're not hitting the rack and going to the line. We got to hit that rack. We got to go to the cup so we can go to the line. 14 free throws, that's not going to cut it. Miami made more free throws than we took. They were 19 for 28. Three-pointers. Miami came into the game shooting 31%. They shot 44.8% tonight. Field goal percentage. They came into this game shooting 41%. They shot 47.6% tonight. That's due to our lack of defense. Mighty Knicks. Shout out to Mighty Knicks. They're already talking about the draft. I see a bunch of you guys talk about the draft. It says Cam Reddish equals T-Mac. Well, I don't know about Cam Reddish equaling T-Mac. I do know that 45 points in the third quarter equals a loss. I do know that. Just about any team that plays, you give up 45 in the third quarter unless you're scoring 46. Probably going to take a loss that game. Take a look at the box scores. Frank Ntilikina played 30 minutes, 9 points, shot 43% from the field, 42.9% from the field, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, got a little loosey-goosey, sloppy with his passes in the second half, down that, in goofy time. Lance Thomas, 6 points, 6 rebounds. Cantor, his first non-double-double of the season. He didn't get double digits in neither rebounds or points. And see, we are relying on Enes Cantor to perform for us. It's hard to have a night like this. It's hard to have a night like this, Cantor. We need you in double-digit rebounds at the very least. But we need you in double-digit points as well. Tim Hardaway, 14 points, 4 for 10. 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Now, some of this is because, Hardaway, you see, played 22 minutes. He didn't play in that fourth quarter. Cantor didn't play in the fourth quarter. All right. Trey Burke, 16 minutes, 3 points, 4 assists. Nobody on our team played well except for maybe Damian Dotson. Right? Damian Dotson, 20 points, 10 rebounds. And it's a shame when a guard is leading our team in rebounds. That's a problem. I listen, I love for guards to rebound. But our big man, we got to get stronger down there, man. We're relying on you guys to rebound. We need you guys hitting the boards. Damian Dotson. Listen, Damian Dotson is having himself a hell of a season so far. Hell of a season. I love what Damian Dotson is doing. And you guys know how I feel about Tim Hardaway. It's making Tim Hardaway expendable, my friends. He is. He is. He's making him expendable. I'm not saying that anything's going to happen right now. Of course, we need to see Damian Dotson continue to play. We need to see the consistency. But Damian Dotson, he takes good shots. He shoots a high percentage. He plays defense. All the things that I like in a player. All the things that I do not like about Tim Hardaway Jr. That I wish Tim Hardaway... Let me change my tone there. How about that? He has all the things that I like in a player. And those are all the things that I wish Tim Hardaway would learn to do. I put it that way. I'll put it that way. But that's the lone bright spot on the night. Damian Dotson, the lone bright spot. You know, I see someone, you know, Jay, I think, who was that? Jay Alvarez says, Sim, be happy. I can't be happy on a loss, man. I do not like to lose. Losing is not, it's just not part of my DNA. I get grouchy and mad and upset when I lose. I do not like to lose. I am a competitive person. You know, I compete in a lot of things. I just don't like to lose. I want to get to the video chat, see who's in the video chat tonight. And let's talk about a few things. I know everybody wants to break down the game. And even though everyone, you know, listen, for some of you guys who are new, man, get used to it. When we lose games, I'm going to be a little bit upset. Not really depressed, just upset. Not going to have the same energy when we lose games like this. If it's a tight game, it's going to be what it is. Kari 420 says Sim is going to be real unhappy for this season. I might be, man. I might. We'll see what's up. Tony Chrome coming to you, my brother. Just give us a quick shout out to the chat and a quick synopsis of the game from your point of view, my man.
Yo, Blackest Time. Shout out to the chat. What's good, Sim?
I'm chilling, man.
It was a tough loss.
Tough one.
Tough loss, man. It was ugly, the ugliest game of the season.
Yeah.
I'm not really too discouraged overall. Just looking at the season so far, but let's see. We it's messed up because we gotta see how we bounce back, but we gotta try to bounce back against Golden State. So
yeah.
It was a tough game, man. I'll wait till you get into the individual topics and then I'll talk on those.
Okay. Yeah, let me jump over here. Prince, what's popping, brother?
Same difference, man. We all, we've been in the chat just breaking it down. We've been just kind of thinking about different stuff. But again, I think it might be time for the Michigan boys to go. And I'm sitting in Michigan right now, man. It's like 45 degrees outside, man. But hey, it might be time for the Michigan boys to go to the bench, man. It's time for us to try something else. We're just not getting that, like Viv said, we're not getting that shot in the arm to really, like get that offense started and get the team really revved up and juicing, So it's time to, try something different. I'm definitely not mad at what we got. I understand. We just working with what we got. So again, every night we're going to go out and compete. But tonight we got smacked around and it wasn't cute. Hopefully when they come back to New York, we're going to have to blast them by 30.
Yeah, definitely. We got smacked around, and look, when you got people on your bench like, Dwayne Wade, right?
Right.
When you got someone on your bench like Dwayne Wade, who's been in the league forever, won championships. He can teach these guys how to listen. Miami, they lost a bunch of close games, right? He could teach these guys and show these guys what it takes to win. Show these guys they have an element that we don't have. Although, coming into the game, they were kind of on par with us as far as the statistics were concerned. They still had an element that we don't have, which was Dwayne Wade. Right? Not that he was going to come into the game.
They played together.
They played together. Right, exactly. But it's not like Wade was going to come into the game and give them 30 points or 20 points even. Right? I think he was averaging 13 points on the season. But the knowledge that he's able to impart on those guys, the ability to, you got Eric Spoelstra who's been there since forever. So they already have a culture set. Those guys are coming into a culture, right? You got Dwayne Wade, and then you got what's his name that's been there forever. Haslam, who's been there together. And them guys, they know the culture, so they're able to be there and kind of teach these young guys what it takes to be a Miami Heat player. You know what I mean? So they have something different already, which we don't have, and we're trying to develop. We're trying to bring that in. That's something that, as I was watching the game, I realized it, and I didn't touch on that in the pregame. But it's something that I should have, and that I think all of us need to, got to realize that we don't have. I mean, if you look at our team, our longest tenured player is Lance Thomas. How long has he been on the team? 5 years? 4 years? Right? And you can't say that Lance Thomas is actually bringing or has the ability to teach the New York Knicks culture or the New York Knicks way, because there has not been a New York Knicks culture or a New York Knicks way that he was brought up into, right? Fizdale and those guys are relying on Lance Thomas to help develop it. It's not like he can actually go out and teach it, because there hasn't been one. So this is the basis of it. This is the groundwork of it. And, hopefully, Fizdale is on the right track. Scott Perry and them guys are on the right track and teaching it and putting it in place. And, 5, 6, 7 years from now, we'll be able to look back and say, when someone new is coming to the team or we got new, younger players, we can say, they're coming into a culture that is already established, and if you don't see it this way, then you see it another way, because you're not coming in here and messing it up. You know what I mean? And that's going to be something that we deal with all year long. Viv, what's up, man?
What's going on, Tim? How you doing?
I'm good. Grappling with this loss. Grappling with it. How you dealing with it? What's up? How you feel?
You just gotta put it in perspective, like you just did right now. If you look at the Heat rotation that they played tonight, most of their players are either the same age, if older, than our team. They're stronger, smarter, older. So that's just a case of they just out-savvied us, I guess, and they burst the balloon in the second half of the second quarter. But once we hit the 6-minute mark in the second quarter, that whole 11-point lead was pretty much gone by then.
Gone.
And, started out third quarter, and then they just burst the balloon there. Just clamped down the defense just for all it needed to take. Right, all it took was about maybe 2.5 possessions.
Yeah.
Ended with that Burke, isolation for 20 seconds. Bad, a bad shot. He stayed on the other side of the floor. I think they got a 3 out of that. Lead went all the way up to 8. Burke was taken out of the game. But by that point, the balloon burst. And, that 8-point lead became 20, became, 30 or whatever
30.
It was. So,
yeah.
It's just the case that, just put it in perspective, most of these teams are at like a C plus level in terms of, peak performance. And I think the Knicks are clearly they've had a gear ahead for the most part, because, that's what the offseason training they did. But, if this is what's going to happen if we don't, show any sort of resistance or show an ability to kind of find a way to get out of these ruts. So
yeah, right. Hey, and my man D Grant said you got a King Vitamin crown on. I don't know. You might be too young. You might be too young to remember King Vitamin. I remember King Vitamin very well. As a matter of fact, King Vitamin, when I was young, my mother had to go she had to take me and my brother to the food pantry a lot to get food and government cheese and Captain Crunch and peanut butter in a can and all that stuff. And King Vitamin was one of the cereals that they gave us, man. And I used to love King Vitamin, though. That was my cereal. You do look like the King Vitamin dude, man. You do look like the King Vitamin dude a little bit. You do. And what's going on, man?
Man, listen. I had to take a moment after this game to collect myself, because this game was frustrating, man. It was so frustrating. It's almost like we played the opposite. Like everything was in reverse tonight. We started off good and faded. I saw too many times, especially in that third quarter, when they had the lineup of Frank, Ron Baker, and Trier, I don't understand for the life of me why they insisted on Trier running point guard. I mean, he turned the ball over like 6 times in a row. It's almost like they're making a concerted effort for Frank to play off the ball, and I really don't understand it. That if I was a reporter, I would ask Fizz that question. You know, it's like they're forcing him to play off the ball, and you know, it's strange to me because with a lineup with Ron Baker and Alonzo Trier in the court, you would think it'd be given that Frank would run the point, but Trier ran the point for like 5 minutes, and we were already blown out at that point, but that just like added on to the frustration. That third quarter was just terrible. Watching Whiteside do all his antics, and like I hate that guy with a passion. I hate Hassan Whiteside. Like I don't know if it's just me, but if I was 6'10", like he would have been on the ground. Like it would have been a Lakers Houston situation all over again. You're not gonna be bumping me and talking and waving. Nah, it's not happening. But I don't know, man. I feel like we missing that. Like I don't know which of our big men. Like I feel like one of our big men should have shut him up. Like I don't care how much you losing, but you don't let nobody style on you like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would have been. Yeah, I mean, I guess that would have been Cantor if that's what that's what Cantor says. Says he's about. But
you would think. I mean, like you don't have to be dirty, but like he was profiling. Like he was holding court. Yeah. He was acting like me. He could have been wearing a crown on too. Like that's the way he was acting. He ain't me. I don't know why he was acting like that. But and Tim Hardaway Jr. got on my ever-loving nerves tonight. All this yelling at teammates and banging on chairs.
Yeah, he can't be doing that.
He's pouting and is somebody gonna check him? Somebody has to check him because he's acting like he's Michael Jordan or he's earned this cachet to be yelling at people on the court when he don't play defense himself. And look, how you gonna yell at Cantor for missing an assignment? You missed one possession before.
That has to be Fizdale. And listen, we knew. I think all of us kind of talked about it, predicted it a little bit that at some point there was going to be something with Tim Hardaway. Right, there was going to be something with Tim Hardaway. Now, I'm not going to get on Tim Hardaway for wanting to win, right? But there's I don't want to see pouting. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, but I won't get on him for wanting to win and be successful and be a good team. But if you're a leader, there's a way. You don't pout about it. You don't cry, and you definitely don't blame. You know what I mean? I mean, look, I guess they learned it from LeBron James, right? Because LeBron James does a lot of blaming, stuff like that. But you don't blame.
LeBron, like a monster. Like if you're gonna be that guy, you gotta be productive, man.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of the problem is, and I could be dead wrong, but the presence of Hardaway Sr. at every game, I feel like he thinks because that's his father, like he's gained this sort of respect from people. And like you can't say nothing to me because my daddy right there. Like I can't stand it, man. It's sickening to me. Tim Hardaway Jr. could be on the next flight out of New York tomorrow, and I would have a party. I don't know, Sam. This game is frustrating, man. I need something to drink.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. I don't think Tim Hardaway is going anywhere. If you see the way that Tim Hardaway Sr., Scott Perry, all them guys, I know they're buddies, man. They're buddies. Tim Hardaway's not going anywhere for a while, at least until his contract is up.
Hardaway seems like a helicopter parent in the NBA.
Yeah. Let me get to this call. Caller, you on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm chilling, man. Can you speak up a little bit?
I can't even hear him.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can't hear.
I can hear you like a little bit. You like really, really, really low. I need you to speak up. Like really speak up.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me now?
You real low, bro. You real low.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, now look, I feel like Tim Hardaway Jr. People don't understand that if you're depending on him.
I still can't hear the dude. Whatever.
Hello, can you hear me?
There we go. Hello?
All right. First off, hello, I'm here. If you depending on him, Tim Hardaway, to carry the load of the team, it's not gonna happen because he's not known for that. I feel like for Tim Hardaway to be better effective, they going to have to get a star point guard at the one alongside with him so he could be better effective. And number two, people don't understand, not having KP, healthy is going to kind of hurt us. I've been knew that before coming in the season. And I feel like for this year, my plan is, even though it's still early, try to play hard, try to get into the playoff. And then if you can't, then just next year, just try to get a marquee player. You can scratch Kyrie. Kyrie not even coming here. You can aim at guys like Kemba Walker. Guys like, I would say Kemba Walker will be cheaper. You try to get him. And then from there, I'll still keep Tim Hardaway because you're going to need a shooter if you're going to get a star point guard. So thanks for taking my call, my man. I look forward into calling again.
Hey, my man, where you from, man? I see you got a 518 area code. Where you from?
I'm from Queens. And my name is Moses.
All right, Moses. Appreciate the call. I just seen you had a 518. I thought maybe you was upstate or something.
Nah, man. Queens,
all right,
man. I don't like upstate,
Okay.
But I'm Queens, man.
No doubt.
I want to be close to the garden. That's all.
I feel you. All right, bro. Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, let me see. We got Isaiah in the chat. Isaiah, what's popping, man?
What's going on, Sam? You can hear me?
I'm chilling. I can hear you.
Oh man. Okay. I gotta say something about Fizz, man. I love Fizz, but he's having me worried about ball movement. This is like our 5th straight game with less than 25 assists.
20 assists tonight.
I counted the assists. I think we had 21. No, we had 19 today.
20. Yeah, I was just looking at it. Yeah, we had 20 today. 20.
When I tell you that's what I looked at this game the most. That really bothered me because this is like our 5th game straight. I think the most assists we had was the Atlanta Hawks game, and I think even then we only had 24 assists. So it's really upsetting me that and it's making me question Fizz about ball movement because it's like I'm looking at all these guys. They're just chuckers. Like I'm looking at Mario. This is like he's chucking the ball. You know what I'm saying? And we're not having a ball movement, and that's why we're not getting easy shots. We literally do pass it to the top of the key, pass it to the guy, and then he takes a shot. It's getting crazy, man. And then I'm sick of Lance Thomas. Every time Frank gives him a nice pass, Lance Thomas misses it. Does anybody else notice that? Like every time Frank gives him a cool assist, Lance Thomas screws it up. And then you saw how pissed off Frank was because it's like, yo, like what more can I do? And I think
now let me say this, Isaiah. I think that Fizdale, I really do think that Fizdale has some things in place. They're just not being ran. If you go back and look, you can see it on the video that I just put up. All right, it's a Frank Ntilikina video. And regardless of who it is running it, if it's Frank, if it's Trey, there's some things ran. And when it's run, it's working. It works. If you look at some of the things that went down in that video, some of the plays that they used, they worked and they looked good. They just have to be ran and without it, go through it once or twice. Go through it at least one time without breaking it and taking a shot, right? Go through it. And then if it doesn't work, give it to someone to go. You know what I mean? But if you look at some of these sets, some of these things that they did, they worked and they worked real good. And it got guys, there's a stretch from 4 minutes and 51 seconds in the first quarter till, 9 or 10 minutes in the second quarter when it was Frank Ntilikina, Mario Hezonja, Damian Dotson, Alonzo Trier, and it was Noah Vonleh. And they were running the offense. It was all of them. They were running it to perfection. And, everybody in that stretch, everyone except for Frank in that stretch took a shot and scored a bucket. right? But it was Frank, even though Frank didn't take a shot, it was Frank who facilitated it all. And if you take a look, you'll see it.
Well, Sim, you know,
right?
You know what, Sim, people, you know what people are gonna say, Sim. You know, we can keep telling them, we can keep telling them that Frank runs the offense, but until Frank scores 30 points and has 18,000 assists, I don't think people are going to listen to you when they say Frank runs the offense. I'll be honest with you.
But I'm saying it's not even about Frank. And Frank happened to do it at that time. I've seen Trey Burke run some of the sets as well, but he breaks it more than not. And maybe that's what Fizdale wants him to do. I don't know, but he breaks it more than not.
I'm just hoping something because I'm tired of seeing us not have at least 25 assists. You know what I'm saying? It's just about the ball. I'm seeing a lot of ISO. I'm seeing a lot of hero ball when it's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? It's
you're right.
I just want it to get better because from what I'm looking at, man, some of these guys are not gonna be. I'll be honest with you. I can't see Mario. Ed just said it best. How we gonna play hero ball with no heroes? It sounds crazy.
And I mean, another thing is
we got sidekicks.
Well, listen, we're not gonna get assists if we're shooting 41% from the field, or if we're shooting 42% from the field. You're not gonna get assists that way either. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go, if you look at that video, right? If you look at that video, there's a number of passes that Frank made to Novon Lay, to Enes Kanter, to Mario Hezonja for wide open shots, and we blew them. Right? Trey Burke has made passes to people for wide open layups and wide open shots, and they've been blown. Right? I mean, yes, we need to have we need to have less pounding the ball, but also when we do pass the ball, guys got to make it. Guys got to score. You're not going to get assists if you shoot 36% from the field. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. Let me get you another call. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, what's going on, Sam?
I'm chilling, man. How are you?
Everything's well, man. It's Ant Lutz from East New York, Brooklyn.
All right.
Yeah. I just want to say we need to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. That's the one thing I think we need to do to make a move either for Butler so we can have cap room to either sign another marquee player as free agency. Okay. I haven't really been watching the games like that because I'm in Florida now. So, But I watch your podcast a lot, and I get a lot of my info from a lot of you guys that's up there. So.
Yeah.
But what's the topic? Because I didn't.
I mean, right now we're just kind of recapping the game and just kind of we're recapping the game and kind of just letting our frustrations out right now. But we're about to get into a few things. Get into a few topics.
I've been watching you for a minute, bro, and this is my first time calling. So I really like watching y'all guys and getting y'all opinions. So. I just wanted to call and make that little statement and finally get through and actually get to talk to you. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Appreciate it, man.
Shout out to the chat. And I know a lot of guys be probably looking at me like I'll be bugging because I've been pushing this Tim Hardaway Jr. trade. But I think he needs to get out of here because he doesn't fit that culture. He came from an old culture, which was Melo and J.R. Smith. He has that mentality. You feel what I'm saying? Because he was like that when they were there. So he's not going to give these young guys anything really to grow off of. You get what I'm saying? So
I feel you.
That's just my thoughts on that. You feel what I'm saying?
I feel you.
To make us a more solid team. This is a throwaway year to me because we don't got KP. You know what I'm saying? So we need to look at getting a good draft prospect out of this draft stock and into free agency. And if we can move some things around and make it a little bit better, I think we'll be a better team, I think 2 more years from now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Oh, let me say one more thing.
All right.
I think the Fizdale experiment is going to go bad. You feel what I'm saying? Because he's not giving these guys really any grounds to stand on. Like, this is your role. This is your role. He's still having them figure it out and scrimmaging. So he needs to put these guys in their roles and let them go through the fire. You feel what I'm saying? Stop playing with these little run around lineups that don't mean nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Let Frank be the point guard. let Timmy, because he has the experience, I think he don't even need to start. I wish Courtney Lee was healthy, because Courtney Lee is more level-headed than Tim Hardaway Jr. He's going to follow a code. You feel what I'm saying? He's going to play defense, and he's going to knock down the shot when he needs to. You feel what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say, Tim. Shout out to the chat and everybody that's up there, and I'll talk to you guys again.
Appreciate the call, bro. Look forward to hearing from you again. All right, peace.
All right. Peace.
All right. And a lot of people are going to be calling for Timmy's head. Maybe I push that narrative. I don't know. But I will continue to push the narrative that I do not like Tim Hardaway's game because he's inefficient and he doesn't play defense. I was breaking down videotape while I was doing, the Frank Ntilikina video that I just put out. And I'm pretty sure everyone remembers when Tim Hardaway caught the ball, was playing defense on Chris Middleton on the baseline, and Chris Middleton easily spun to the basket and scored. Well, there's 2 other times that he was on the baseline. I'm sure there were many more times that he was on the baseline. But he was posted up on the baseline against Frank. He was posted up on the baseline against Alonzo Trier. Both times he got fouled and went to the line. But neither one of them let him move. They played tough defense. They guarded that baseline. Right? See, Tim Hardaway just let him spin around him like he wasn't there. You all know I got my qualms about Tim Hardaway. I'm not going to continue to go into it right now. Tonight was everybody's fault. It was everybody's fault. It was just a terrible game by everybody. You know what I mean? By everybody. Third quarter of doom, man. We had a third quarter of doom. We gave up 45 points in the third quarter. What was the cause? That's what I'm asking you guys, chat. What was the cause? Let's talk about that a little bit. And I'm going to get to this call first. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Yo, what's up?
What's going on? Who is it?
It's Montana from Albany, man.
You from Albany. What's going on, man? A la born in the house. I think this is the first time I had somebody call from Albany, man. Big shout out. You know what I mean? I'm from that way.
You from Albany?
I'm from that way. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was all over upstate New York, from Albany to Catskill to Utica, all over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I just want to say a few things, like 2 things. I just want to say, like, as far as Tim Hardaway is concerned, I get frustrated with him just like everybody else. But he's like I put him in the box with like J.R. Smith, you know what I mean? And like he's like an offensive Jamal Crawford. He's like a spark, you know what I mean? He shouldn't be starting. I just don't feel he should be starting. I think he should be coming off the bench, but they gave him and nowadays that money that he's getting is really not a lot of money for what he does. It's really like off the bench money, like J.R. Smith type money, even though J.R. Smith starts. And I just feel when it comes to my boy Frank, I love Frank. I don't think he should be playing the 3. I think he should be playing the 1, starting at the 1, because when he's at the 3, he just hides in the wing, and nobody ever passes him the ball over there. I think he should orchestrate the offense, start from the 1, like Fizdale. Let's give him 5 games. Like you gave 5 games to Trey, let's give Frank 5 games. And let's see what he does. I bet you, even if we lose just like we lost these last 4 games, or last 3 games, even if we lose, I bet you things will run smoother. Because it ain't about the wins. It's about like learning how to move the system, how to orchestrate the offense. Frank, I think he'd do, because he's not. I already see it in Frank. He's never going to be that Russell Westbrook. That's not him. He's more like I don't know, Andre Miller, somebody that knows how to run the offense. He gets his little points here and there. Somebody like that. I know you're probably familiar with Andre Miller. I'm not sure if everybody in the chat is familiar with Andre Miller, but somebody that can run the offense. He's not known for scoring, but he could get his buckets when it's due. You know what I mean? I just feel like Frank needs to be at the 1. He's no good to us. I mean, other than defensively. But offensively, he's no good to us at the 3. I just feel, and another thing with Tim Hardaway, it's going to be really hard to trade him because it's like a smack in the face of Steve Mills because that's like his first baby. You know what I mean? It's like that's like his, and it's only been a year. This is Tim's second year, so it's like before they can really, they like to go at least 2 years before they say, we messed up on this one. Let's get rid of him. So he's definitely going to be here with us for this year, unless he gets packaged in with somebody for a superstar. We package him in with somebody, but I don't see Tim going anywhere this year. He's only, especially with KP out, we don't have no offense. So who they coming to see if Tim Hardaway's not there?
I mean, that's
what I got to say though.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for the call. Appreciate the call.
Shout out to the chat, you too, man. All day, you heard?
All day, no doubt. Peace. So he asked, about the offense without Timmy in there. I mean, honestly, we've been doing okay when Timmy's not in the game. We really have. I mean, if you look at, against Milwaukee, we did okay with Timmy not in the game. I mean, tonight the end of the first quarter, into that second quarter, we did okay with Timmy not in the game. I mean, I think we'll be able to muster up offense without Timmy in the game. And here's the reason why. I understand that Timmy is in transition. Timmy's our best player in transition, right? Timmy gets the ball in transition and he can go to the basket. He's going to get fouled. He's going to get a bucket. He will. I'll give you that. Timmy is probably... He's not afraid to take the big shot in the big moment. He's not afraid to make it. He's not afraid to miss it. I admire that about him. I definitely do. I admire that about him because not everybody has that trait. Some people will shy away from taking those big shots. Timmy will take them. But the reason that I think we would still score is because someone like Dotson, Frank, Mario Hezonja a little bit. Mario's kind of here and there. But these guys will run the plays. Even Trier. When Trier's in there with Frank and them guys, that second unit, he'll run through the plays, and when he gets his chance to ISO, he'll ISO. Okay? But these guys will run the play, and then they'll take what's given to them. And not only that, with Damian Dotson, and I'm going back to Damian Dotson because he's been playing well. When you watch Damian Dotson play, he really does move. He knows where to be. He knows where to be. He knows when to cut. He knows when to go get the ball. He just gets it. He gets it. He knows how to play the game. He really knows how to play the game. Now, when I was breaking down the tape, I seen him. He dribbled the ball up the court. Frank was coming to get it, but he didn't give him the ball. He continued to dribble up the sideline, and then Frank came and got it, and he gave it to Frank so they can get things started. Tim Hardaway probably wouldn't have given it to him. Damian Dotson understands the game, and he plays defense. And, I mean, he can go out, he can rebound. He's an athlete. I think we can score without Timmy in the game. Now, will we get to the cup? I mean, we don't get to the cup that much anyway, but Timmy is one of our best players getting to the cup right now. You know what? Last year, I was really on him about it. He's doing a better job this year, but he's not shooting a hell of a good percentage. He's shooting a horrible percentage. I mean, but listen, we know we got a team without stars. Stars are usually complete players. We have a team of incomplete players, players that are incomplete in different areas. And that's what makes it hard for us to put a solid lineups on the floor. We have some good lineups that we can put on the floor. But when you're a team like us, you're going to be filled with players that are incomplete. Right? Tim Hardaway. He can shoot the ball. He can be a good shooter. He can be a good scorer. but he shoots a low percentage because he has bad shot selection, right? And then he doesn't play defense. That makes you incomplete. Frank Ntilikina, he can play defense. He's a good facilitator. He lacks scoring right now in his career. That makes him incomplete. Trey Burke, he can get to the cup. He's got a killer mid-range. He's got a lot of feistiness. He works hard. But he's not a facilitator. That makes him incomplete as a point guard. Right? Everyone on our team, and as Cantor, he can rebound the ball. He's a monster in the post. But he's average to below average on defense because he's not able to play on the perimeter and he can't block shots. Another incomplete player. Right? You know, and we're filled with players that are incomplete in this way. Which is why we are the team that we are. You know, that's just how it is. And you know, it's up to Fizdale to try to put players together, to put lineups together that are going to complement each other. Not just your best players, but players that are going to complement each other. Bombo said Dot is pretty well-rounded. He does seem to be pretty well-rounded. He can shoot the ball. The one thing I would say about Damian Dotson is that he doesn't have much of his own he doesn't have the ability to create for himself. I haven't seen it, at least. Let me say that. I haven't seen it that much. You know, he's the kind of guy that's going to really be able to score within the system. He can shoot the 3-ball. He can go to the basket when it's off the pass and he explodes to the basket. Of course, he can score on the break because he's an athlete. And he can play defense. You know, I don't see that ability to really come in and break down the defense on his own and get to the cup. You know, that's just my observation of Damian Dotson right now. Doesn't mean that he cannot get to that, but right now he doesn't do it. You know, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that's not what he does. You know, you know, he does a lot of good things. He does a lot of things right, but you know, he's not going to. And I see someone say, Elton Wilson say he did tonight. And I'd have to go back and look at it. I don't remember exactly the play, and he probably did. But, you know, it's not something that he's going to do consistently. You know, he's more of the kind of guy you're going to get coming off of screens. You're going to get him spotting up in the corner. You're going to hit him in transition. You know, those type of things. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the fact that, you know, we're a team of incomplete players. Which is the reason why everybody, you know, wants to get a superstar, because you do need to have complete players on your team in order to compete in this league, or else you're trying to hodgepodge lineups together to supplement for somebody else's weakness. You know, which causes a problem for most teams, most coaches. Is very, very difficult. All right, let's get to the chat because I want to know about this third quarter. Tell me the reason why you think we had this kind of a breakdown in the third quarter, and will it continue? Ant, I'm coming to you. What do you think, man?
Yo, what up, Sam?
Why did we have this breakdown in the third quarter, and will it continue?
We had the breakdown in the third quarter. Again, I know I keep harping on it, but I think it was, you know, the point guard play. I don't think we had a floor general running the offense. I think Miami got up to a quick start, and we started pressing, taking bad shots, and it kind of snowballed. You know, in the first half, I think it was the second quarter, Miami went on a little run, and we kind of stopped it with our defense, but we were trying to catch up with offense. And we began to play a little too fast, you know, make too quick of decisions. And, you know, it snowballed. And then you look up, and 3 minutes later, we're down 22 points. So I just think we let it get out of hand. You know, it wasn't enough ball movement, too many quick shots, too many long threes, you know, one pass and shoot the ball. And then a lot of defensive breakdowns. I mean, Miami, credit to Miami, man. They came out, and you saw from the jump in the second half, they were pressured. Like the perimeter pressure they were putting on us was intense. They were hounding the ball. And I don't think, we were ready for that. Our young team, they weren't letting us run our offense. And it showed, they were a little more, veteran team that have been together. They know how to play together. And they exposed us a little bit.
Will it continue to happen? Do you think it's going to continue to happen?
I don't think that will continue. Let us pray. Especially at home, I think we're going to learn that this team is going to play a lot better at home. But I don't think so. I think, like I said before, when I was talking about Kevin Knox, it's going to be a lot of games like this. There's going to be a lot of games like Milwaukee and Boston. We're wondering how the heck were we in the game, right? So they're a young team. You just never know. It's a crapshoot some nights. We just got to hope that as the year goes on, we could become more consistent defensively. So even when other teams are turning the pressure up on defense on us, we can apply that same pressure on defense and make them work as well. So I don't think this will continue,
Okay. All right. Guillermo, coming to you, Guillermo. And big shout to Mighty Knicks. It said, who was guarding McGruger? Fizz needs to get on players if they get lit up. Whiteside was killing cancer. Why not try Mitch earlier? Guillermo seems to agree with Mighty.
Dude, oh my Lord, man. People want to complain about the offense. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not that we had like a crazy offensive game. That was not the problem. The problem, we had transition defense was bad. Yeah. We allowed Hassan Whiteside to abuse us. This is a guy who really can't shoot outside of 10 feet from the basket, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, Cantor's a good player, but in that position, you got to put in Mitchell Robinson. Mind you, look, we understand Mitchell Robinson's a little bit skinnier, a little bit lighter, but he has a height advantage and a size. Too many times I saw Von Lay get caught with the up and under and things. Put in the kid Mitchell Robinson, man. And another thing about Mitchell Robinson is that he can close out on those threes. We had too many. I can't remember, it was in the second quarter when they went that little mini run where it was either Tim. It was two guards. I can't remember who, but they were confused as to who to get out to guard the three. It's like, anybody, just keep guarding the three, keep switching around until everyone catches up with a man, and then they can slow down the defense, slow down the offense. Right. So it was like on defense, did you see the play where they did a pick and roll, right? And Hardaway got caught and was expecting and tried to still come around or something like that, and then was waiting for Cantor to kind of like come and help him, and he ended up picking up the foul. Things like that. Too many times I see Cantor when it's a pick and roll, he's too lazy. He doesn't peek. He doesn't like cheat a little bit and help. He doesn't switch to the guy. He just stays back. And it's like, guy, just at least come up, show something. The guy might not even drive past you. He's just probably driving a drive. He might not even think he get past you. Just move up. Like, I just feel like this defense, I don't know, Fizdale's supposed to be this defensive guy or whatever. Like I said, in the preseason, I saw it a little bit, but now it's like guys are just getting confused. You got Hardaway mouthing off to Cantor, that. And just a side note, no one likes Hardaway because I'm looking at it. He's like barking on Cantor, and Cantor's kind of like looking away, like, dude, I'll slap you the F up. Like, just look the other way. Don't talk to me.
And against Milwaukee. And if you go back, and I have the clip, and maybe I'll show it on the next stream because I can't access it right now. Damian Dotson passed the ball to Cantor. I believe it was Damian Dotson. Passed the ball to Cantor, kind of out by the 3-point line. He cut past Cantor. Hardaway was supposed to immediately come up and curl around Cantor to get the ball and then go to the basket. Hardaway gets stuck, or either he forgets or, whatever it is. And you see Cantor roll his eyes like, come on, man. What is this guy doing? You know what I'm saying? And then he comes around the late, and everything is all, bungled up because now, Cantor already picked up the ball because Hardaway was supposed to be coming. Mm-hmm. This guy jams him up. Hardaway's guys jamming him up. They don't turn the ball over, but it just makes the offense not crisp and not clean, which can lead to turnovers. There's going to be something there.
I'm sorry to cut you off real quick. Can I just say this one thing, man? You made a good point before, and I agree with you 1,000%. I'd rather see Dotson in that 2 role over Hardaway because at least with Dotson, and even like you said with Burke, I feel like Burke, he's like a stem cell. When he's with Hardaway, he wants to go ISO and get his. When he's with Frank, he moves within the offense. Yeah. When you see Warriors guy, Dotson, and Hazonia works. He has to stop taking these ill-advised threes when things are just broken down. He just looks at the basket and just shoots it. But when I see Dotson, Frank, and basically Dotson, Frank, and Cantor, there's a cohesion. I don't mind that squad. I don't mind that squad losing, but I know that when I look at that squad, I can see a semblance of a system. I see things moving. I see the ball moving around. I don't mind if that team loses. I'm tired of seeing Hardaway not go to the basket, tired of seeing Hardaway just grab the ball from a guy near the three and just chuck the shot with 18 seconds left in the clock, and you down the team just won a 10-0 run. Like, what is this dude doing, man? Like, trade this guy, man. He gets on my nerves, man. It's embarrassing. He's doing stuff in front of his father with the Heat, and the father's like, yo, we root for the Knicks. I don't even root for the Heat. And he's pulling this crap off, man, against a bum team like the Heat. Come on, man. Stop.
Yeah. We're going to see how this develops with Hardaway, man. So do you think this third quarter, do you think we're going to be able to turn this around, or is this going to be a continuing issue?
You know what it is? We play down to our competition, man. We play to our competition. It's not even the third quarter. I think it's a mental thing, man. Because when we had the Bucks, we played like, yo, screw it, man. Like, we have nothing to lose. And they almost beat them. The Celtics, it was like, hey, we're not expected to win. Almost beat them. And you play the Heat, and it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like once they started doing the fast breaks, it's like they lost it. Like Fizdale, he has to make the changes to be like, hey, if you don't get back on defense, if you're giving up turnover after turnover from lazy passes, I'm going to take you out. Everybody wants to look at the players. The players are what they are. Fizdale, who's come here with the glasses and all this, eat what you kill, or whatever the crap he says, he has to be the one to implement the changes and be like, hey, we're going to follow this. If you want to play, you have to fall in line or you out, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Okay. All right. Isaiah.
Yo.
Talk about the third quarter. Why you think we broke down this bad, and is it gonna continue?
You know what, son? I will honestly say that I don't think it's gonna continue because we've actually been playing we played really good third quarters. I'll give us that. We played good third quarter. And you know what, Sam wouldn't look, and this is basketball, we not going to win every battle. We're not going to win every third quarter. We can just get that out the mouth. I would like us to win legit. I would like us to win the majority of them, but we're not going to win every one of them. That's not possible.
Of course not.
But I think today, and you know what? I know how much I love. Everybody played crap today. Everybody. It was what Michael Jordan said. He doo-doo. That was the kind of game we had. Everybody didn't play. We're gonna get it together. Tim. I'll say this, man. Tim making it hard to like him and to. I understood why he cussed Ken out that first time when we seen them. They cussing at each other. We seen that. He missed it. And you know what is? Well, you know what's killing us right now, son? That's really killing us. We legit have no shot blocking at all, and it's painfully obvious.
We averaged 2.5.
That we have no blocks.
Up until this game, we averaged 2.5 blocks per game, which was like 27th to 28th in the league. Let me get to Tony Crow. Tony, what do you think, man? Is this going to be an issue that we continue to watch for? Have we corrected? Over the first 3 games, we were like a plus 21 in the third quarter, plus 21 or 22. After tonight, we're like a negative 3. Is this going to be an issue, or do you think we get it corrected coming back against Golden State?
Off the jump, let me just say, it's not going to be a continuing issue. But, of course, I'm worried about next game. We facing the Warriors, the best third-quarter team in the league, the past couple of years. So, excluding next game, hopefully we pull that out. But excluding next game, I'm not really worried about it. I think we've been playing well. I think we ran into the Heat team that's been together for a couple of years. I don't know if they have many new players coming in this year at all. I think the past couple of years, they've been an overachieving team that overachieved by playing hard. We kind of aspire to be where they've been the past couple of years.
Right.
So again, I'm mad we got blown out by that much. Hopefully, we get them back at home. But again, it's just like that Nets team that we played. They've been playing hard for like a few years and beating teams that they probably shouldn't have beat it just by playing hard.
Yeah, and
we just got a bad one tonight.
Yeah, and you know what, Tony? The Heat had come off of 3 close games and only won one of them, right? They were going to be desperate, and you know why they were going to be desperate is because of expectations. People don't understand the impact of expectations. Expectations can really change the way that it changes your mindset, because the Miami Heat expect to be a playoff team, right? They expect to be, maybe like an 8th seed, 7th or 8th seed. That's their expectations. So now they're 1-2, right? They have a little bit more desperation when they play this game to get back to 500, because it's like, we're supposed to be battling for a playoff spot. We gotta maintain that 1-2. You have a team that has low expectations, regardless of your talent. You're 1-2, you're 1-3. Your mindset is like, well, you know what? We battled against Boston. We battled against Milwaukee. We're exceeding expectations. They're not as desperate to win against Miami, right? They're not as desperate to get back to 500 or to get to 500 or whatever you want to say, because the expectations are low. That's why when I play, I always give my kids high expectations, even if sometimes they may seem unattainable. Right? Because I want them to expect the best and to try as hard as they can to be the best that they can. And if we fall short, we fall short. Right? I throw some goals out there and I ask the team, what do you expect we can do? Right? What your expectations really do put you on a trail to what you think you're supposed to do. That's why you have some teams who are like, it's championship or bust. That's their expectations. They expect to win a championship, right? They're not going to be like, and I'm not saying we're supposed to be championship or bust, right? You set up realistic expectations. And I think for any team making the playoffs should be a realistic expectation, because you never know when a team is going to gel. We've seen teams that are supposed to be ass and then come in and make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I think that should be a goal of every team coming into the league. Now, you're going to be realistic. You may not have the pieces to win the championship, but you should, try and say, okay, we'll at least put this here. We'll dangle this playoff carrot out here, and we're going to try to go get it. But you got to have some kind of expectations for yourself. And if you have low expectations for yourself, then to me, low expectations feed into a low quality of play, right? Because now you can kind of settle like, well, you know what? We competed against 2 really, really good teams. If we don't win this one, it ain't all that bad, because we've already exceeded expectations. That's why I like to set high expectations. It gives you something a little more to reach for. And Miami is a little bit more desperate because they expect to be a playoff team. They expect to do something, regardless if they had the same amount of talent as us or not. They expect to do something bigger than I think our team expects to do right now. If what I said just makes sense.
One thing I want to say in the Knicks defense, and I mentioned this earlier to the chat, I really want to hear Fizdale say something about our lack of fouls call. I think we've been getting to the line. We should be getting to the line. We've been getting flagged, and we haven't been getting the call.
Yeah, we only went to the line. What was it, night? I forgot what it was. But we shot below 20 free throws tonight. I think we were 9 for 14 or something like that, or something like that. We didn't shoot many free throws tonight. Let's see. I'll go back and look at the matchup. We shot from the free throw line. We were 9 for 14. Yeah. We definitely need to get to the line more. Part of it could be the refs. Part of it is us not getting to the cup. Yeah, we definitely.
I mean, I can name at least 3 plays in the first half where we should have been on the foul line. Actually, 2 of them would have been an and one, and one of them, it ended up being a non-conversion, and the other team got the ball. But
yeah, let me see what Viv thinks, man. Let me see, Viv, what do you think? Do you think that this third quarter thing is going to be a continuing issue?
Yeah, I see it as a continuing issue because I think a lot of the teams that we see right now, they're kind of at their C plus game. And, I think we are more kind of, I don't think we're going to take that like second step that, most of these like playoff teams that other teams are going to take. I think the main problem, honestly, is the way our roster is constructed. We just don't have the talent to often make that second adjustment or go, take that second gear, to take that lead and just build on it, or at least, taking that punch and just resist their blowback in a sense. I see it being an issue. And if it's not the third quarter, it's gonna definitely be another quarter, because I mean, even in the first few games, right? Even if we had a good third quarter, we always had like a bad first quarter, right? So
right,
maybe we might start the first quarters off better, but then we'll just get smoked in the third quarter. So I think it just boils down. This has been an issue for a while, that we don't have the talent and we don't have the the energy and savvy to kind of maintain the same pace of play and the same mindset over 4 quarters just yet. Could a lineup fix it? Maybe, but again, there's so many flaws with, this is a very, there's a limited talent in this team that you're going to need to not only just run plays, but you'll need players to help you get out of, situations where the defense is so strong that, you're going to be forced to go one-on-one or improvise. So.
And listen, I'm going to tell you something, and people are going to hate this. They're not going to like it at all. Mm-hmm. But the team that we have now is maybe not the triangle itself, but it's what systems like the triangle was made for.
It is. It's what it was made for. For teams to get into their offense, and it's an easy facilitation for offense.
Yeah, when you have a team that is less talented, the way that you win, you need to outsmart teams, out hustle teams, out defend teams. You got to do those type of things in order to win when you have a team that is not as talented. You know what I'm saying? That's how you become successful. Right. When you have teams that aren't as talented, you've got to have a really structured offense, in my opinion. When you have a team that isn't talented, you've got to have a structured offense that passes the ball crisp, comes off screens well, sharp, tight to the shoulder, sets good screens, knows how to crash the glass. You've got to do those little things in order to be successful when you don't have a team that can match up talent-wise. And I do not see us do those small things that our screens, sometimes it's designed that way, but our screens are brush screens. We do.
They're not fundamentally crisp screens, and our passes are not fundamentally crisp.
Yeah, our passes are not fundamentally there, crisp, on point, on target. Our cuts. Sometimes I see us cut, and I see sometimes it's a dummy cut, right, where you're cutting, but you're not really cutting to get the ball. But I'm like this. I don't care if you're cutting to get the ball or not. If you cut hard, you may get the ball anyway because you lost your guy. We don't cut crisp. We don't cut with intention. We don't move with intentions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we go through the motions. Let me get to the spot that I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to be. And if we're, if we're going to have any type of success and development as a team, you know what I'm saying? We've got to be sharp in those areas. We've got in those little things. Listen, 95%. I know everyone talks about scoring, right? Scoring. That's what it is. 95% of the basketball game takes place in other than the basketball hoop. 95% of the game. The ball going in the hoop is the end result. It's everything else outside of the game that happens first. The dribble, the pass, the rebound, the defense, getting steals, getting blocks, setting screens, coming off screens the correct way, having your hands ready to catch the ball, passing the ball in the pocket so that someone is ready to catch and shoot. All of those things happen way before the ball goes into the basket, which is the reason why it is imperative to master those skills that everyone wants to glance over and look over. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's imperative.
I think honestly, Sim, we should be spending a lot more time trying to get like the offensive, just getting some sort of offensive sets and offensive fundamentals down, because you can kind of see the reason that our defense and a lot of our other parts of our the team's game is just off is because we always start the first quarter and we always start the second half just having no clue on what to do on offense. And I think Fizz has just got to be like, hey, we're going to go with these plays, we're just going to run them to death, have at least 3 or 4 plays, whatever it is, and just keep on running through it. And then he has to set a system of discipline where, if the team is not in their set play, that they need to know what to do to kind of, be in like a freelance type of,
Exactly.
And you don't see that with the players because they just seem like they just go one-on-one and they get lost in the system. Yeah. That's that reason. That's the exact thing happened where in the third quarter, Trey Burke, the play got broken up. He had the ball, he dribbled it for 20 seconds. He, took a really bad shot, a bad layup, missed it badly, stayed on the offensive end of the floor. While the other team, the Heat, just pretty much drove an open 3, and all of a sudden the game was over then.
Yeah.
And Trey Burke, he was benched, and that was it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Let me get to a call, Viv, and I'm going to come back to the chat. We're going to talk about lineups and lineup changes. All right. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Yes, Sam. What's going on, man? This is Andrew, Mr. Patrick Ewing. What's going on?
What's going on with you, man? So, what's your take? What's your take on tonight's game, man?
Yeah. Well, it's the last time I called, man. I told you the problem. Man. They're playing the wrong players. Plain and simple. Yeah. Last time I was here, I mentioned, Dotson's got to play, right?
Yeah.
Frank, you know how I feel about Frank. Frank should be at the point. So I'm not even going to bother talking about Frank because to me, if they don't. They're supposed to be talking about lineup changes after 5 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the lineup change does not involve putting Frank at the point, then it's useless. So that's all I'm looking for. For the Knicks to start to turn things around, it begins and ends with putting Frank at the point. It's plain and simple because Frank impacts the game in terms of defense. His highest impact on defense is when he plays the point. And in terms of running the offense, again, it's all about and you did that. I saw that thing that you put out about Frank, showing how Frank excels as a point guard, and you hit it right on the nose. You can see right there. I mean, people continue to argue that Frank is not a point guard. Are just, in my opinion, arguing just because they don't want to admit they're wrong. But because the videos that you put out there shows exactly how impossible Frank is when he's running the point. But I mean, I don't even want to talk about Frank too much because I already beat that to death. But the issue is that they're not, Sim, in my opinion, they're not playing the right guys, right? The guys they're playing are all one of, who was it? I think it was Guillermo just said something about, when you said that some of the guys are limited. That's true. But when you put Dotson, and I think he mentioned Kanta, the team all of a sudden starts to play a semblance of an offense, right? Because these guys know what they're doing. You mentioned earlier about Dotson, he just knows where to be. Same thing with Kanta. These guys know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And once you put them in there, you see the offense begin to run more smoothly. And so, to me, that's the issue, man. He's depending too much on Tim Hardaway. He's depending too much on Trey Burke running the offense. You know, those guys don't. That it's not in their DNA to be facilitators. It's all about one-on-one play, and that's why the team looks so awful. He has to have the guts to put people like, you know, obviously Tim is the guy making millions and all of that, but he has to have the guts to put, you know, say, okay, I'm gonna put the guys that can run the system. Obviously, these players are flawed, Tim, but in order for him to run, you know, you said before the season you want to develop a culture, you want defense, then you got to put players in there that do those things, right? Tim doesn't play defense. Why is he playing? Dotson plays defense. And the other thing that Dotson brings to the table that this team desperately needs, he rebounds the ball for a guard. He's an excellent rebounder for a guard.
He had 10 rebounds tonight.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said he had 10 rebounds tonight.
He had 10 rebounds tonight. So, you know, so on a team like this that don't have rebounders to begin with, there's only really 2 rebounders on this team. I'm going to leave out Mitch for now because he's not playing Mitch. But the only 2 rebounders you have on this team is Kanta, who's excellent, and Van Ley, who I won't say excellent, but he shows flashes of being pretty good. After that, there's no rebounders here. The only other rebounder you have is Dotson. And Dotson is, you know, he's really, really good as a rebounder. So if you're not playing the right guys, this is why the team looks like this. And that, to me, the issue then is, overall, the issue is still there. The fact that he talks a lot of stuff. You know, when he talks, it sounds good. I want a culture change. I want to play defense. I want length. I don't want cupcakes. I want guys who are unselfish. He says all the right things. So as a fan, you listen to that, you're happy. Because it's exactly what you want to hear. But then he turns around in games, right? And he doesn't put in the guys that exemplify those things.
Right.
The guys are, you know what I'm saying? Those guys are on the team. They're there. Right? Frank does that. Frank has length. He plays defense. He's unselfish, right? Same thing with Dotson. Dotson can play defense. He rebounds. He knows how to be, you know, to be, you know, part of a system, right? You mentioned it before. He just knows where he needs to be.
He
right?
knows
Same thing with Kanta. Kanta has his deficiencies on defense, no doubt about it. But he's definitely on offense. He's not selfish. The guy knows what he's doing on offense for sure. Right? Even Hazonia is sort of up and down. Sometimes he plays nonsense, but sometimes you can see if you can get him under control, he actually can be part of that thing too, where he's playing some, you know, he's part of the system and so on. Maybe if you have a guy like Frank who's running things, it would also get Mario in line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know when he's playing, when he's playing with Frank,
yes.
You know, he's usually, you know, he plays more in line. You know, he plays more within the system, within the offense. And that, you know, that's what I see right now.
Precisely. That's my point. So right now, just in this discussion we're having, there are 4 guys that you met. That's 4 or 5 guys right now that on offense gets it, right? Mario to some extent, especially as you rightfully said, when he's playing with Frank. Frank gets it. Dotson gets it. Kanta gets it. That's 4 to 5. That's 80% of a starting lineup right there. And the other guy, actually, that I like, that gets it too, is Van Ley.
Yeah, Van Ley.
He plays a team game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
I agree with you.
Yeah, so I there, those 5 guys right there, you put those guys in there, those are 5 guys right there that if you're talking about running a team game and changing the culture, those 5 guys right there could be a starting lineup right off the top. With that lineup, you're gonna have defense in the perimeter with Dotson and Frank. You're gonna have Mario. Actually, Mario. The other thing about Mario that I like, a lot of people kill him for his defense. I think Mario actually, because of his length, if you have him under control, that dude, in my opinion, can play some defense. I forget which game it was that he had a whole bunch of deflections. He had a couple of steals. I forget which game it was that he looked pretty good on the defensive end. Right? To me, this is what you want length. You put my man at the small forward spot. That's a lot of length right there. You got Frank with length, and Dotson with a little length. You got Mario, and these guys all together can run that offense, and the defense will be decent. Because at least in the perimeter, you're gonna have defense with Frank and Dotson, and even Mario to some extent. Van Lake plays defense. And then you're gonna have three rebounders on the court, so you're not gonna have the issues where you're not rebounding the ball. The only negative with that lineup is you don't have rim protection. But then if you have Frank and Dotson on the perimeter, guys are not gonna be waltzing to the paint anyway. So you were talking about sort of having put a team together that complement each other. That would help counter all, because now you're not going to have guys just waltzing to the paint like when Tim is there and those other guys. And so the lack of a rim protector becomes less egregious because you got these guys on the perimeter protecting the perimeter. So to me, that's the issue. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you. I was just saying, right. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I hear you.
Yeah. That's the problem, man.
I definitely think there's going to be some lineup changes in the way that players are used, who's used with who, when, and in that I definitely think there's going to be some lineup changes. I'm just interested to see who and how they're used.
Well, let me ask you this. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Finish up that. What were you saying? Yeah.
No, I'm just interested to see who and how they're used.
Well, let me ask you this, right? Do you think I already have my answer to this, but I just want to get your opinion because maybe you disagree. Maybe you have a different take on it. Do you ever see him giving Frank a shot at the point?
I think he might.
You think so?
I think if he goes back and looks at the videotape, he might say, you know what, let's give him his fair shake.
I hope so, man. I mean, if I personally have my doubts, but you may be right. I hope so, man. I hope so. But because, again, to me, right, it's so clear. Again, your video, I keep going back to your video because I think that's the first time I've seen anyway where someone has isolated Frank in terms of the way he impacts the offense when he's at the point. Most of the videos that you see that isolate Frank, for good reason, isolate his impact on defense. Because it's so impressive.
Right.
But your video is the only one I've seen so far that isolates specifically. It had nothing to do with the defense. It had strictly to do with how he runs the offense. And it's very clear that he's the point guard. And for me, I'm thinking, I think I know basketball fairly well. But then I'm no NBA coach. If I can see as a fan that Frank is the point guard on this team, you see it. Most of us, a good portion of us who are watching, clearly see that Frank is the best point guard on this team.
Yeah.
How is it a guy like Fizdale can't see that? That makes me a little, good at some things.
Yeah, and what I'm hoping, and I'm gonna let you go after this because I know I got some other people on there. But what I'm hoping, and like Fizdale said, the beginning of the season is gonna be like an extended preseason. So I'm hoping that he's just experimenting to see what he has, and to hopefully so that he can understand who can do what where, and maybe that's what it is. I hope so.
I hope so too. Listen, I'm going to go, and thanks for taking the call, but I just want to say that I hope you're right, man. I hope it's, that's what I'm holding on to, that it's an experimental thing.
Yeah.
But, man, to me, it's so obvious that's not the experiment he should be doing, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, I mean, it seems very clear. Anyway, same my man, great show as usual. I want to just say, you know, what's up to the chat. And again, you know, just keep doing what you're doing, man. I love the show.
Appreciate it, man.
You know.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good one. Man. Take care. Peace.
All right.
All right. Let's get to the chat. We're gonna get to the chat. I want to know what you guys think. What kind of lineups do you think he's gonna throw out here on the floor? Are there gonna be lineup changes? I guess that's the first question. Are there gonna be lineup changes? And what do you expect for him to put on the floor? What would you put on the floor? Video chat, I want to see what you would put on the floor. I mean, YouTube chat, I want to see what you would put on the floor. You know what I mean? What would you put on the floor? If you're going to make lineup changes based on what we've seen so far, what would you put on the floor? I'm going to take this last call, then I'm coming to the video chat. Call you on live with nothing but Knicks. What's popping?
Yo, what's going on, Sam?
I'm chilling, man. So tell me, are there going to be lineup changes versus Golden State? And if so, what lineup changes would you make?
Yo, you know what? I would like to see, I know a lot of people probably won't like this, but you know what? I would like to see Mario start. I think maybe his game, I think he needs to start just to like get his feet wet or whatever. But otherwise today, I think we got a young team, right? For sure. But also, I think our young team, we showed ourselves today. We showed that we were young, inexperienced, or whatever. I thought Miami's defense baited us into taking shots that we don't want to take. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they baited us into taking shots that they want us to take, not the ones that we want to take.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
But otherwise, though, as far as lineup changes go, man, I think we should see Mario in the starter lineup just to get his feet wet, to see what he really got, you know, because he's up and down. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's been up and down so far this season. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's been good a couple of games, and then like a couple of games he's just been off. So I think maybe if he gets a start, maybe we might get to see his real potential. Mm-hmm. Also, too, I think Noah Vonleh should start.
Yeah, I agree.
He should start.
I agree.
Like, you know what I mean? Because
I think he should start at the 4.
Yeah, for sure. He brings it every night, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he does. He's like the how do you say it, man? He's like the downgraded Canner. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
He doesn't have the inside post moves really, really like Canner does, but he's got a little bit.
You know, for on rebound, you know, he can rebound. He's more athletic. But I think, you know, just having him there who can rebound, having Canner there who can rebound will help us on the boards. The issue is still going to come, you know, with the bench. You know, but Mitchell Robinson is going to have to play some more so we can start to get some blocks, and maybe he can help us on the boards a little bit. He's going to have to play a little bit more, I think. You know, I expected that he was going to get about 10 minutes a game. They're starting not to play him until garbage time. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, but there's got to be a reason, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
There's something probably seeing in practice to where he's like, okay, like I can't really throw him out there yet.
And maybe he's just not fully healthy either.
Yeah, that too, because he had that ankle sprain. True that.
Yeah. Hey, man, I appreciate the call. I really appreciate the call. And I'm going to get to this video chat and see what they think. All right?
For sure.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the call. Have a good one. Peace. All right, let's see what you guys talking about up here, man. I wanna see what you guys think about lineup changes. What changes would you make? Ant, I'm coming to you.
He could have guarded Kelly Olynyk.
Ant, Are there going to be lineup changes coming into the next game?
We didn't have anything to lose, Prince.
Hey, Ant, can you hear me? I don't think Ant can hear me. So I'll come to Guillermo, then I'll come back to Ant. Guillermo, can you hear me?
Wait, hold on. Yo, Sim, who are you talking to, Sim? My bad.
Well, I was talking to Ant, but now I'm talking to you. Because Ant was talking to Prince.
Answer.
Yeah. Are there going to be lineup changes coming into Golden State? And if so, who do you think? What do you think? What lineup changes? Oh, I guess I don't know what happened there. I'm going to come back. Oh, you there? You there, Guillermo?
Yeah, I'm here.
So what lineup changes do you think is going to happen coming into Golden State? Are there going to be lineup changes? And what do you think? What would you make?
Oh Lord, Golden State. We're playing them in New York, right?
Yeah, we're playing them in New York.
Oh, thank God. I can't call it, Sim. I will say, look, they have a smaller front court. If that makes any sense. So, but I want to see more Mitchell Robinson. I want to see him come out and play some type of defense. You can't have Kelly Olynyk or Draymond Green, hitting threes from deep.
Right.
But honestly, we were just talking about this before. I said that I want to see less Tim Hardaway and more Dotson, just because Dotson exemplifies more of a system and plays better within the system and defends better. And we're going to need that against Golden State. Lord Jesus, we know we need that. But I'd rather have Dotson start over Tim Hardaway Jr., but I don't think Fizdale's going to do it because, one, the guy costs a lot of money, and two, what I hope that he's doing is trying to showcase Tim Hardaway so he could trade him. But I don't think there's going to be any changes. But I would say for the subs, I want to see more Frank, Hazonia, and Dotson, because I don't want to see Hazonia have the ball too much in his hands. I want to see him come off the three, shooting off the curls and stuff. Same with Dotson. I want to see Frank operate that system with those guys. So.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. I want to see. I'm going to show the lineup that I want to start, but then I have an issue with the bench if I start this lineup. I'm going to show it a little bit later, but then there's an issue. There's a big issue with the bench. If you start this lineup, so it means that you've got to maneuver players around in a strategic way. You can't just throw guys in. But I'll show you that in a minute. I'm gonna come around. Ant, I'm coming to you.
Yo, the lineup change I would like to see against a team like Golden State is maybe Hazonia inserted into the starting lineup and Frank moved to the point. Only because I don't think he'll sit Tim Hardaway Jr. So maybe I think we'll match up better with Golden State that way. Because Lord knows I don't want to see Frank guarding Draymond Green or Kevin Durant. So, but I have a feeling, a bad feeling, because Frank is always the guy, man. I have a feeling he may bring Frank off the bench. And I hope I'm wrong, but from what I've seen so far, it's almost like Cantor, Hardaway, and Burke are his, constant starters. So we'll see. But I hope that it's inserting a guy like Mario into the starting lineup or Dotson, so that we can match it. Because Golden State's very versatile. I think this is a game that Cantor may not play as much, and I think a guy like Mitchell Robinson and Noah Vonleh would be more effective against a team like Golden State. That at times they can have a lineup where I think they have like KD at the 5, Draymond at the 4. Like they go real small and real versatile. So I think a lineup like that, Cantor's just not going to cut it. So I think we may see like a lot of lineups where Cantor's not on the floor, especially with the offense Golden State runs with the screen. And, the Golden State started off slow, but I mean they about to heat up. Playing against our defense, man. Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, it's we're gonna have our problems with Golden State, and I mean, just like I said earlier, when you got incomplete players, it's hard to really mix and match your lineup, and you got to do a lot of maneuvering, to make it work. But
I do have a feeling that we're gonna, because this team is just weird. Like we'll probably be within like 10 points or like within 8 points with 6 minutes to go, like for no reason. You know, someone that hit, like we'll make a lot of threes and we'll get excited, and then they'll do what they do within like the last 4 or 5 minutes. But that's just this team. I feel like they're gonna stick around a lot, and get our hopes up, and then not close it out because they're young. But I got a feeling that's gonna be the kind of game this is. We're gonna be within shouting distance. For whatever reason, I don't have no reasoning for believing it. I just think it's gonna happen.
Okay, all right. Prince, coming to you, Prince.
My starting lineup, I think I'm gonna go Frank. Like everybody say, it's gonna be hard to sit Tim Hardaway, so you got to plug him in at the 2. I think honestly, I think Dotson should get the minutes at the 3. You know what I'm saying? My boy Namin, son, I've been seeing him screaming that in the chat, and I think I kind of feel the same way. Bring Dot in at the 3. I think he's going to help with defense and, shooting that tray ball, and maybe that'll give him some extra confidence starting. And then you got Vonleh at the 4, because I don't think Lance is giving us nothing offensively. So defensively, yeah, I mean, he could definitely guard KD. But again, he ain't going to stop KD, so you might as well put, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if Vonleh guarding KD ain't much difference. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just to be completely honest. No, I hear Ed G's talking about it's a difference, but my thing is what? Like what? Noah Vonleh got feet just as good as Lance Thomas. So again, what would you truly believe? He jumps higher. He's longer. So again, I think honestly he would be more of a better defensive assignment on KD than Lance. Truly. And then Cantor obviously, and then exactly, and that's the Guillermo said 35 or 37 points. Facts. That's the difference. So again, that's why I say it wouldn't really hurt. But Vonleh is going to get you more rebounds, and again, I just believe Vonleh fits better at the 4, and then Cantor obviously at the 5.
Okay, and it's tough that. No,
not at all.
That everyone believes that Tim Hardaway isn't going to go to the bench. I agree. He's probably not going to go to the bench, but I would put him on the bench. I would put Tim Hardaway on the bench and insert Damian Dotson in his spot. I would have. Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I would do. I'm kind of torn with some of the things that I would do. Because of who would then have to play together on the bench. So it kind of makes me, it just bothers me because our bench, we have a lot of ISO players on this team, and then you'd be putting these guys on the bench, and it would be an issue.
Hey, somebody, yeah.
The bench together.
Yeah, Sim, your mic muted, bro.
My mic is muted. You said my mic is muted? Oh, maybe I need to reset you guys. Maybe you guys can't hear me. I don't know what it is. Viv.
He had me on the chat, but
Viv, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't hear me, Viv?
Like 20 please.
What'd you say?
Yeah, double 20 for me.
Nah, I don't think these guys can hear me, so I'm gonna have to reset these guys, and I'm gonna come back to them because it looks like I lost them somehow, some way. So I'm gonna reset these guys, and I don't know. For some reason, it's been acting funny a little bit. You know what I mean?
I've been calling this since last year, man. You just gotta play him at the 2.
So here they go.
Yeah,
back.
Sam, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Viv? Hey, Viv, can you hear me? Viv can't hear me, so I don't know what's going on with the chat. Looks like the chat is out. So what I'm going to do, I don't know, the sound is out somehow, some way. All right, the sound is out. But what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to just finish this out myself. And then, if I get a chance to get to the chat, I'll get to the chat. One of the things that we're talking about lineup changes. Right, we're talking about. We're talking about lineup changes, And there are some lineup changes that I would make. One of the things that I would do, and just letting guys know in the chat, I'm not able to hear you, so I apologize. I mean, I can hear you, but you guys can't hear me. I would make a change. I would start. I'm gonna pull this up for you right now and let you guys see what changes I would make. But it poses a problem to the bench. If I were to make this change, it's gonna pose a problem to the bench. But this is what I would like to see at least. And this is just to try it out. It's just to try it out. It doesn't mean that this has to be forever. To see what it looks like starting the game off. Right? But then you got to make some real serious adjustments when you bring your bench in. You have to, you're gonna have to. I don't know what you want to say. You're gonna have to play around with the lineups a little bit when you make certain adjustments. This is what I would do. I would try it, and maybe doing this, you teach Tim Hardaway a lesson. But I would try Frank Ntilikina, Damian Dotson, Mario Hezonja, Noah Vonleh, and Enes Kanter. I like what I've seen from this group, although actually this group had Alonzo Trier instead of Enes Kanter, but I think you got to start Kanter because you need his rebounding on the floor. So I would start this group. See what we do. See if the game changes. Now here's the problem. The problem with starting this group is then you got Trey Burke, Alonzo Trier, and Tim Hardaway on the bench. And if you bring all three of those guys in together, that's going to be an issue, right? Because I don't think those guys play well together. So what I would do is I'd have to move. Instead of having a set bench lineup, I would then, I juggle it a little bit, right? So I'd bring in Tim Hardaway for Damian Dotson. Okay, then I'd bring in Trey Burke for Frank Ntilikina. And then when I did bring Alonzo Trier in the game, I would make sure that I bring him in with Frank or with Ron Baker. Okay, so I would have certain lineups that I use, not necessarily just one bench lineup. Right? I'd have to mix it and match it a little bit to make sure that we don't have a bunch of ISO guys on the floor at the same time. Because if you got Trey Burke, Alonzo Trier, and Tim Hardaway on the floor at the same time, that could be a problem. But I'd like to see that starting lineup. I'd like to see what it looks like. Put Tim Hardaway on the bench. Let Tim Hardaway see what it feels like. I mean, he knows what it feels like. He went down to the G League. I try it out. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I try it out, see what happens. If it doesn't work, you can always go back to it. I can always go back to it. It is what it is, man. That's the lineup that I would try. Now, let me see. Let me see if these guys can hear me now. Okay, it's all good. You know what? I hit the wrong button and had myself muted. So there we go. We're back in effect. We are back in effect. So let me come to you, Viv.
You can hear me now, Sam?
Yeah, I can hear you, my man.
Good.
So we're talking about lineup changes.
Mm-hmm.
Would you make lineup changes, and what lineup changes would you make?
I would make lineup changes, and I think I caught a little bit of what you're trying to do. What I would do is, so this is my definites, right? I would have Frank and Kanter definitely there in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
I would have Tim Hardaway Jr. just out of necessity in the starting lineup. And then from there, I would take out Lance Thomas and I would put in that's going to be a tricky thing. So actually, I'll leave Lance Thomas out. So I would take out Trey Burke and I would consider putting in Damian Dotson.
Okay.
And then from there, I would consider Lance. But then, I think you mentioned opportunity going big. I guess you could either go Hazonia. So I had what? I had Frank, Dotson, Hazonia, Lance. You can go, that'll be tough. I don't know if I really want Hazonia at the 4 either. I would keep Lance. Let's keep Lance at the 4, because we don't really have a true 4 in any sort of sense, and I don't think Hazonia's kind of shown much.
I think that Noah Vonleh can play the 4. I think.
So here's the problem with Noah Vonleh, right? So Noah Vonleh could play the 4 in theory, but then who's going to be a rebounder off the bench? If you're going to have Noah Vonleh at the 4, then either you have to be a genius doing a super stagger in a sense where, basically you start him off of the game and take him out and then, bring him back in with the bench unit, or you're just going to have a situation where no one can grab a rebound.
Well, I think that's what you got to do. I think you got to stagger them, because in what I put up on the screen, I have Frank Ntilikina, Damian Dotson, Mario Hazonia, Noah Vonleh, and Enes Kanter. That's what I would try. Just he's experimenting. Let's experiment. Now,
and then leave the Michigan guys on the bench, right?
Yeah. And see, the problem is the bench. So then you do have to stagger players, right? Because I feel like that 5 fits. I feel like that 5 would fit together.
Right.
And you've got to, you got to be careful. You don't want Trier, Trey, and Timmy on the floor together, right? So then you've got to, when you go to sub, you bring in Hardaway for maybe Damian Dotson or Mario Hazonia, right? And then you bring in Trey Burke for Frank Ntilikina, right? And then when you come back, if you do another substitution, you bring in Ron Baker for either Hardaway. You bring in Ron Baker and Alonzo Trier for either Hardaway and Trey Burke, or if depending on who you subbed out, maybe Mario Hazonia still in the game. You bring in Alonzo Trier for Mario Hazonia, Ron Baker for Trey Burke, or however it is. But you make sure that those 3 guys aren't on the floor together. So you've got to stagger it, and then you've also got to stagger the way that you use Enes Kanter and Noah Vonleh to make sure that you always have a rebounder on the floor. But then you can use Mitch Robinson as well a little bit. I think he should be getting 10 minutes a game anyway.
Now, where does Moutier come into play? Because I feel like the team lacks ball movement in all sorts. So can Moutier, fill in that role temporarily, or at least for a few minutes here and there?
I guess he can when he gets healthy.
Well, they say he could play as early as Friday. So
okay, all right.
So I guess I see where you're going with, and I guess we can kind of break it down right by purpose, right? So like to start every half, right? We want to start off the first few minutes of each half with getting everyone involved, getting off to the right start. And I guess the way you get off to the right start, right, is that you can move the ball, you can play tight defense. So, Frank meets that criteria in a sense. Dotson meets that criteria. Kanter, you can get Kanter going with Frank. What I wonder, though, what I kind of worry to a sense is there enough space on the floor to start off the first quarter or start off the game? Because if you have a Frank, Dotson, you said Mario, Vonleh, and Kanter, there's not a lot of space to occupy. The offensive is kind of imbalanced in that way.
You think so? You don't think there's enough space? I think Hazonia and Dotson can space the floor. I'm not exactly sure what they're shooting. I know Dotson is shooting very well from the 3. Hazonia, I'm not exactly sure what his percentage is. I think those 2 guys can space the floor. I guess where you would have an issue is with Vonleh and Kanter.
Yeah, that's where you have a little bit of an issue, right? So Vonleh, neither one of them can space the floor. So yeah, you're right. Hazonia can, but then I guess the wings, spaced out. But then the real question is, does that give Frank operating room in a sense? Can he run a pick and roll without,
that's true. That's true.
2 or 3 defenders in the paint all the time?
That's true.
So I mean, I see where the lineup with the Vonleh Cantor lineup, like you mentioned, that solves one problem in that it, you can start grabbing more rebounds because you can kind of box more rebounds.
I think Vonleh can help. We have seen him hit a 3, I believe, already. Cantor's not consistent with it, but that's the purpose of them using Cantor and trying to get Cantor to shoot threes. But I can see where it could be a little clogged down there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking more in the pick and roll opportunities because yeah, that's a tough one. But then I guess when you go to the bench unit, right? So your bench unit, then you kind of stagger in a way. Okay, if you want to space the floor out, you can kind of bring in Tim first, I guess, to an extent, or obviously, and then you can kind of sub in Burke and Trier in some sort of way, where I guess Burke comes in first, and then Trier probably starts the second quarter, and then by that time you take out Burke, so you can kind of do some some kind of strange staggering in some sort of way. But I think, I just don't see Burke that comfortable, even running this, even basic type of offense in a sense. Like he doesn't have the vision, and obviously he's not as tall, so. Right. You kind of need some sort of point guard out there to keep people in check a little bit. Mm-hmm. So that's where I kind of thought about Moutier for a moment, because I guess maybe he might make some difference, and I wonder, does it make sense to get Baker out of the rotation for a bit, because he's not really bringing that much either. He's not. I want to do the same thing for Lance, but Lance is not. He's not like a position of excess right now because Knox is injured. So I guess you can kind of have Lance out there, for at least another week or 2. But
yeah, well, it's definitely going to be interesting, man. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch next couple of days.
Because they know that the lineup every single game has been consistent, that they cannot move the ball. Right. Every single game for the first 7 minutes or 6 minutes, whatever it is, they shoot terrible. So that definitely has to change.
And that's my thinking in having these guys, because with these guys on the floor, even when I seen these guys with Cantor, and the reason why I throw Cantor in here instead of having Vonleh at the 5 and Alonzo Trier in at the 2 with Damian Dotson at the 3, Mario at the 4, because that lineup has worked. Frank Ntilikina, Alonzo Trier, Damian Dotson, Mario Hezonja, and Noah Vonleh. That lineup has looked good together. Starting, the reason why instead of starting that entire 5 is because we need Cantor's size on the floor. So that's why, these 4 guys, Frank, Damian Dotson, Mario Hezonja, Noah Vonleh. And I've seen times when Cantor was out there with this group, I believe. I need to go back and look at it.
Yeah, they're kind of interchangeable. Like you can put Vonleh or Cantor and they're very productive either way.
Yeah, and these guys can move. They can set screens. They move without the ball. The offense looks fluent. And that's part of my reasoning for saying, well, let's give it a try with the start. See if we can start off with some fluent offense for once. And keep the ball moving and get the ball going.
You're completely right in that sense. And from what I've seen early on, that Frank and Cantor have definitely good, ESP in that sense. Frank and I believe Vonleh have a decent chemistry in that sense on the pick and roll. And Frank can feed it to Dotson. So it's at least 3 players there. And Hezonja's got some open threes too.
Yeah. And like and like David Delancey is saying in the chat, he said this group will start. Then what? You're right. There's a then what, and that's where we come in with the whole. You got to stagger the bench and all that stuff, which is the reason why I think David Fizdale went with the lineup he went with in the beginning, right, to help the rotations, so that certain players are split up from each other. But I think that lineup would promote, you'd have some rebounding, you'd have some ball movement. You may have an issue with spacing the floor, though, just like you said, with Cantor and Vonleh on the floor. It's hard to say, man, because we just have so many inconsistencies with the team and missing parts and pieces. It's hard to really have a strong starting lineup and a strong bench unit that that can promote everything that you want in your ball club with this team right here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, like, you don't want to switch lineups too much, but you know that for certain that this lineup's not working, so it has to be switched in some way. But I think from a minutes perspective, from a minutes allocation perspective, Frank's gotten 30 plus minutes, and I think that should stay constant.
Yeah.
I think Tim's minutes are, that's whatever. That'll stay constant. Cantor, I mean, everyone else is kind of getting the minutes that they probably deserve at this point. It's just a question of, how it's kind of like allocated or kind of how it kind of factors into like where and when they play, I guess. So, but it's tough. Like you said, a lot of players, a lot of flaws, and
exactly, makes it really, really tough. Yeah. Too many guards. L. Marshall says too many guards. Yeah, we got a lot of guards. Obviously, it's clear that we don't have a lot of bigs. Yep. It's difficult.
Can you play Mitchell without another big on the floor?
Say that again.
Can you play Mitchell as the sole big?
You said, can you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you get away with it at least? I don't think you can get away with Mitchell as the sole big man, because I just think that he'll just let every rebound, get away.
Yeah. All right. Let's finish this off, Viv. Just a quick preview of what you think about the Knicks and Warriors on Friday, and we're gonna close this out, and we'll come around to the group. What do you think, man?
Yeah, the preview is gonna be as quick as the recap. Probably. Just good luck.
Right. I
mean, look, they should change starting lineup for Friday. They got a quick homestand, 3 games or something, but it's the time to do it. Just it's gonna be a bad game anyway, so whatever happens. I don't know. So
yeah, we'll see. All right, Viv, I'll catch you on. I'll catch you Friday, man.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
All right, later. All right, Prince, I'm coming to you, man.
I just pray we don't get beat by 50. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm looking for, man. Just we don't get beat by 50. So
yeah.
I like your lineup too, man. Your lineup looks a lot like mine. But definitely, hopefully, we'll see maybe something different with the starting lineup. It wouldn't hurt, coming back home. And going forward, like I said, hopefully we just see good defense and we just don't get blasted by 30 or 40. Yeah, and if Tim starts talking that crazy stuff, sit him on the bench, man. We ain't trying to hear that stuff from New York.
Yeah. I mean, the Warriors right now, they average 113 points per game, giving up 106.5 points per game, 45 rebounds a game, 28 assists per game. They're 3-1 in the West. And of course, that doesn't tell the story of the team. Including tonight's game, we should have those stats should be updated. The New York Knicks, are averaging 106.4 points per game. Opponents are scoring 110.2 points per game on us. We're on a 4-game losing streak. We average 43.2 rebounds per game, 20 assists per game. We are 1-4, 0-2 in the Atlantic, 0-2 on the road.
Hey, if I was a betting man, it sounds like we're looking forward to another L tomorrow, man. But hey, hopefully KD and Steph and them, maybe they be broke, and maybe we still a win on our own home court. How do that sound? That sounds kind of really sound.
Still a win at our own home court, right?
That's something, man. Hey, man, take it easy, man. Y'all be good, man. Shout out to chat. Definitely see y'all tomorrow, man.
All right, peace.
We don't play tomorrow. When the next game? Saturday?
Friday.
All right, man. See y'all on Friday, man.
Peace. Nate, I'm coming to you, Nate.
What's up, Sim?
What's going on, man?
Oh, man. Well, I got on late. Oh, man. That loss was tough. I mean, I expected us to fight harder and maybe even pull out a win, so that didn't happen. Just real quick on the lineups, I would like to see Fizdale insert Dot into the starting lineup. I think he's a versatile defender. His three ball has fallen, and especially against a team like the Warriors, we're going to need as much on-ball defenders as we can. You know, I hope to see Knox when he gets back healthy. I'd love to see him fit that 4 position. I think he would be good to stretch the floor. I think Thomas has got to go to the bench. Burke's got to go to the bench. But replacement rise right now, I need to see Vonleh or Hazonia in that starting 4 position. Got to get more offense out of that position.
Okay.
As far as against the Warriors, I mean, man, that's ugly. It's ugly all over. I mean, we're having trouble guarding the 3, man. I mean, Magruder had 4 or 5 threes on us, and I don't even know if that guy was even drafted or anything like that. I mean, just imagine with Klay Thompson. Steph Curry's got 51 right now going into the 4th quarter. I mean, it's going to get ugly. I mean, good thing about Knicks fans is we can probably take a bad shellacking and they'll still show up the next game. So
well, that's true. That's true. I mean, I wouldn't put it past these guys to come out and really play hard and make it interesting, but I don't expect us to get a win.
It's going to be hard, man. I mean, with no Knox, no KP, obviously. I just don't know if we'll have the firepower, man. And defensively, our biggest weakness right now is guarding that 3. We need to get better at guarding that 3. And, you know, Miami killed us tonight with that 3 ball. I just expect the Warriors to do the same. They move the ball so pretty around the court and get open shots. So it's going to be tough, man. I definitely do want to see Ntilikina against Steph. I think that's going to be a really good matchup for him. So.
Well, we'll see. All right, man. All right, Nate. I'll see you on Friday.
All right, boss. Have a good night. Later.
And
yo,
what do you think, man?
All these people expecting a blowout. I don't agree. I don't know if they not used to watching the Knicks or whatnot, but this is the exact kind of game where the Knicks come out, they play hard, they play well, and they come up short. I think the score is going to end up 115, 128 Golden State. I think they pull away late. I think they may sit a guy, and we'll see. But I expect Fizz to lay into him. And I expect the Garden to be packed. With Kevin Durant coming to the Garden, I think the Garden it'll be an electric atmosphere. And then I think, the young kids, guys like Burke and Trier and Tim Hardaway, I think those guys will feed off the crowd. And I think they'll put forth a good effort. I don't expect to get shellacked at all. I think it'll be a good game. I think Golden State will show why they're Golden State. In the 4th quarter, they'll pull away. But I think it should be a fun game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, King Vitamin. I will. I'll talk to you on Friday, man.
Definitely.
Right. Peace. Have a good one.
All right, peace.
All right, Guillermo, it's on you, my man.
Yeah, man. This is I wish the Knicks would on Friday. I don't remember last year how Golden State played them. Obviously, Golden State had AD and Cousins, but a game plan they had against the Warriors was to slow the game down, to work from the inside out. Because one, they don't have a tall front court, a big front court when they're playing with Durant and all those other guys. Durant, is a good defender, Draymond Green, whatever, but. A thing for this team would be to slow the game down. You don't want to go and try to have a shootout with these guys because we don't have the firepower.
Right.
But
exactly.
If you can slow the game down, get guys in foul trouble, get the open guys. Look, Dotson had 20 points tonight. Even though I think he's still -4, he was 3 from 8 from the 3. He was 8 for 14 field goal shooting. We gotta make these rotations a little bit quicker. We can't put Mitchell Robinson in when we're already down by 30 or whatever to come and guard the big men.
Yeah.
I think Fizdale needs to be a little bit more proactive, especially with Tim Hardaway Jr., who was -20 tonight. Even he wasn't the worst. Someone else was -24. I can't remember, but he was -20 tonight, and that's supposed to be a main score and the big guy, whatever. Like I said, that eat what you kill thing. If he starts barking on Kanter like I saw him do today, or he's not, coming around curls, coming around screens, taking easier shots, driving to the basket, pushing the issue against this team, getting foul calls to slow the game down, to control the tempo of the game, take him out. You know, his father was there tonight. I understand. You let him play, whatever. But if you know you're not doing what I thought you're doing in terms of trying to trade him off, take him out against Golden State. Make an example so guys will see and be like, oh, it doesn't matter if you have a big contract. If you don't follow this and that and that and that, you're not going to play. I want to see that accountability from the coach because he's the one who sets up the lineups, not the players. They just play. So it means we see, man, like I agree with Ant, you know, last year we played Golden State similarly. By the end of the first half, we were only down by 2. It's another game where, you know, hey, play as hard as possible. You might steal something. Golden State lost to the Nuggets a few nights ago. So
that's right. Play as hard as you can. And I mean, like I think you said it earlier. You know, we're playing up. We're playing down to our competition, playing up to our competition. I'm not saying that we can play as good as the Warriors, but I think we're going to bring an effort much better than we brought tonight.
Hey, Sim, did you think we were going to take it to the Celtics like that?
You know what? I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what we were going to do. And, you know, they came and they brought it. And then they came and they brought it against Milwaukee. You know, I think that, I think that Ant is kind of on point. I think we'll bring it. It'll be a tough game. And then, you know, we'll lose it in the fourth or something like that. And we end up losing.
I'm sorry to cut you off. This is my last comment, but what I want to see, if we do lose this game, which I think we're going to lose, I want us to see us to lose the right way. Like you said, with the energy and stuff, but I want to see us to lose where we actually are playing within a system, where we having guys move the ball around. I want to see that. So it's like, all right, now we can build off it. One of your callers said that before. He said, we need to have players in a system to make it easier for them so they know what to do, so they're not confused and just trying to ISO it. I think if we lose that way, I don't care if we lose by 20, I don't care if we lose by 2. If I see that and we see development with these young guys, now you have a blueprint. Now you know how to go throughout the rest of the season, developing guys the right way versus, hey, we're down by 30, let's put in Trier so you go ISO and try to get some points
exactly. Back. Right. Exactly. All right, man. I will see you Friday. Man.
See you guys in the chat, man. See you, Sim. Salute to you, man. Peace, y'all.
Peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're down to the end of the show. And my last words are to David Fizdale. Hold your players to what you said you were going to do. Hold yourself to it. Be accountable to yourself, right? Let these guys know, your Tim Hardaways, your Trey Burks, your Frank Ntilikina's, if they're not going to produce and do the things that you're asking them to do, the things that you're asking everyone else to do, get them out the game, sit them on the bench. Don't play them. Shooting a low percentage, get them out the game because it's hurting us. You dribble, get them out the game because it's hurting us. You're not being aggressive, get them out the game because it's hurting us. You're not rebounding the ball, get them out the game, put in someone who's going to do it. Just hold the players accountable. And the guy that you need to hold accountable the most is Tim Hardaway Jr. because he's not doing it on either end of the floor. And it's bothering a lot of Knicks fans that he continues to get as many minutes as he's getting. He can cry, he can scream, he can pout, and he's getting away with it. We got to put a stop to it. Or if we don't, then you're going to lose the team. You're going to lose any culture that you've built. I'll see you guys. Oh, before I forget, I just want to remind you, the Martin Luther King Day tickets are still on sale. All right, please purchase them. We need to get these tickets in. We need to get them sold so that we can book the lounge. All right. I spoke with the MSG guy yesterday. The lounge is still available, but we've got to get all the money in so that we can book the lounge. So even if we book it on Friday, if we had half the money and we book it, then we got to turn around 48 hours later and pay the remainder. So we've got to get people purchasing so that we can make sure that we book this lounge. Please, everybody wants to go. We had a great time at the first event, and we want to have a great time for Martin Luther King's Day. And I know there's a lot of things in between, and it seems like it's a long way off. It'll be here well before you know it. We have 24 tickets left. 24 tickets left, so don't miss out. Get your tickets. Let's go. Let's make this happen. All right, let's have a good time. I know you guys want to be there. I want to be there. I am going to put it in the chat once more so that you guys can know where to purchase the tickets. And, make sure you get your tickets and join us. We will be live streaming from the lounge. All right, we'll be live streaming from the lounge. There you go. There's the link where you can get the tickets. And hopefully I see you guys there. I know that I'll see you guys on Friday, 7 o'clock, pregame. We're going to talk Knicks, Warriors. Make sure you check out that Frank Ntilikina video because I need some of you guys to see the truth. Peace.